welcome back to the Constitutionals podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Welcome back in. We are doing episode 324. Okay, I gotta stop doing this. Here we are. It's a rainy Friday. Just another rainy Friday. It's pretty good. Pretty good. You know what? That was a quote from Larry David from the show Curb Your Enthusiasm. His wife on that show, Cheryl Hines, she was in court this week with her husband, her real life husband, RFK Jr., talking about his confirmation hearings. Oof. Watching the video of her like sitting behind him. Whenever I turned on, I guess the hearings were 2 days long, but I turned on the TV midday so I can watch some late night stuff. I gotta stay on top of the topics, guys. And YouTube TV essentially just turns on to the thing you watch the most, I guess, quote unquote. But it turned quote unquote. But it keeps turning on to CNN. I watch it for like an hour in the morning. And then every single time I turn on YouTube TV, on every platform, if you can hear my neighbor say good boy to her dog. Again, they should not own dogs. These people, as loud as I've heard them fight, they should not be owning a dog. But every platform, I turn on YouTube TV. It turns on CNN. First thing. I just watch it for like an hour a day. And then 12 hours after that. No, the confirmation hearings were live on CNN, and there was a camera angle that they had, which was close up on RFK, and then off center, so you could see Cheryl Hines behind his right shoulder, and she's just like looking at him, oh, that woman. She could have gotten out of that. Like, she doesn't support him. Like, she won't fully say she supports him. But if I was married to somebody and they were spouting some wild stuff like that, and you know, she might. I'm not going to say she's with him for the money. I'm not going to float that idea. But come on, Cheryl, you're on suburgatory. Oh, what else is going on? I've yet to go to the movies. Haven't been to one this year yet. Golf is currently playing on television. The AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. I said this on Late Night Lately, so I'll say it again because I just recorded that before here. Late Night Lately is like the warm-up. If I ever have to do Late Night Lately at the Constitutionals in one day and back-to-back, I'll do Late Night Lately first because it is like the warm-up. I want to be articulate for this one. But as soon as I came over here to record, again, Late Night Lately, Rory McIlroy was the last person I saw drive. And he did this drive where it was a right turn bend. So if you go a couple hundred yards and then it'll make a right turn. If you're a regular golfer, you go straight and then you make that turn. This man, so good. Whack. Diverted off directly to the right over a set of trees, over the crowd, onto the green where that right turn hits. So he didn't have to do that turn. It's amazing. It's fantastic. Oh, it's wonderful. That's what separates the pros from the not so pros. I was thinking about this week. I think about this all the time. This is very true. People complain about, you know, everyone playing sports. Like, oh, I can do better in the basketball game. I can do better in the football game. I would have seen that. The Monday morning quarterback. I think I could play professional golf. It wouldn't be good. Mind you, it would not be good. But I think I could keep up. Let me hit last. What else is going on? Nothing? Oh, I can't wait to finish this so I can watch Matlock. I'm not kidding. Matlock is so good. I love Matlock. And I also recorded the new Watson on CBS with Morris Chestnut, that handsome son of a bitch. So I'll be watching that too. And because Section 31, the new Star Trek movie, came out last week, I'm just all Paramount right now. I have to. I'm mixed whether I should finish the show. I'm in the middle of season 3. I'm literally in the middle of season 3. There's 5 seasons, or if I should just watch the movie. I think I should just watch the movie because I don't think. I think I Googled this last week in incognito because I didn't want any spoilers. But does it matter if I finish the show or not? Which I will finish the show. It's a fantastic show. I love Star Trek. Star Trek's so fun. And it's not as it's very pertinent today, as opposed to Star Wars, which I hate comparing the two, but it's more diverse. I'll tell you that much. It's very true. So that's one of the reasons I started watching Star Trek, is because it was more diverse. Anything else? I've been doing a lot of gaming on the NVIDIA GeForce Now and the Steam Deck and the Xbox. So I have not touched the Switch this week. Is it because of the Switch 2 announcement? No. Every time, this is a very true thing. I usually go to bed at 9. So I can wake up for the gym at 3:45, excuse me. Yes, in the morning. I usually go to bed at 9. I'm done, with dinner and taking Maverick out by 7:30 and cleaning up the kitchen. That gives me an hour and a half. This is the reason why I have not been playing the Switch this week. I watched Kevin Hart has on when Quibi was a thing. The Jeffrey Katzenberg owned Quibi. If you don't remember Quibi was highly, there's no other word I can use except for content. Highly produced content, made for phones, specifically for phones. So you got like shows from Will Forte and Caitlin Olsen, Kevin Hart, Paula Pell, just like who else? What is her name? Chrissy Teigen, Chance the Rapper. Everybody basically had a show, and they were meant to be watched in bite-sized chunks between like 3 and 5 and 7 and 15 minutes at a time. Then it died, and then all of the Quibi stuff went to Roku, and they became Roku Originals. For some of those shows, they were edited into movies. So I believe, The Most Dangerous Game, starring Christoph Waltz and Christoph Waltz and the other guy. I don't know. Let me see. As well as I got a text. I wonder who texted me. I was in the middle of doing this. Let's see. Christoph Waltz. Dollar for Dollar, The Portable Door. Is that what it's called? No. What's going on? Well, I guess they would consider it as television. Yeah, a lot of German stuff on here. Most Dangerous Game. That's what it's called. 27 episodes. My goodness. Was that not? I guess they added it until yeah, it was compiled into a movie. Okay. In May 2022, Amazon Prime Video started streaming a compiled version of the first season episodes as a 2-hour, 7-minute feature film. Boom. Okay. So, and then Kevin Hart's Die Hard, which is a series that tries to display Kevin as an action hero instead of a comedy person. I watched the first movie because I just needed something to put on as I was, I think, Monday night or Sunday night playing the Steam Deck. I don't know. I was just doing something where I didn't want to pay attention to the TV fully. And then I watched it and I thought, that's pretty funny, especially it being produced for Quibi and now it's compiled into a kind of a coherent movie. Makes sense. It's funny. So then there's a second season, and then they just dropped a third season in December 2024, both on the Roku channel. And so I watched Die Hard 2, which was also, again, on Prime Video, compiled into a movie. And then that one's less funny. But it has Ben Schwartz and Paula Pell. And then Paula Pell's in two Quibi projects. And then I watched Die Hard 3, which I will use this word, bad. Die Hard 3, bad. So there you go. That's everything that happened this week. But that's the reason why I've not been playing the Nintendo Switch. Was because I've been watching all the Die Hards. Excuse me for turning on Die Hard 2 and thinking, oh, maybe it'll be just as passable as the first one. No. And you know what? I'll say this. Die Hard 2 ends with Kevin in jail. And his stunt double has taken over his life. And then the third movie starts, and that entire storyline is dropped, or the third season starts, because I guess it's technically a TV show. And that entire storyline is dropped, and it doesn't make sense. And all I can think about the entire time I've been watching it, because I think I have one more episode or two more episodes, the entire time I watch it is, isn't Kevin in jail? Wasn't that a button on the end of the last movie/season? Let's move on. The FireAid concerts were, I think that was an argument I had with myself. The FireAid concerts, the benefit concerts, meant to support the LA wildfires, recuperation from the LA wildfires earlier this month, happened last night. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when they aired, and everybody participated. Max, Prime Video, Apple TV, DirecTV, Paramount Plus, Peacock, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Sirius, Amazon Live, Amazon Music, Apple Music, FanDuel, Instagram, AMC Theaters. I believe it was live streamed at AMC Theaters. That would have been such a fun thing to go to at an AMC theater if you couldn't go to LA, or if you weren't in LA, excuse me. And it was held at two different venues. And if you watched the live stream, like I did this morning, I watched, this is no exaggeration, I watched the entire live stream. I did skip over some of the talking parts. I know that's very bad. I did skip over some of the talking parts, but I got the message. And from 10:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. today, I watched that live stream, 11, 12, 1. Yeah, because I kept skipping through things. Oh no, it was before 10:30. Yeah, because I got back from Trader Joe's at like 9:30. Yeah, it was I probably watched for 4 hours. It was fantastic. I mean, oh my gosh, what a great! You didn't know the transition from the Intuit Dome to the Kia Forum. Acts like Billie Eilish, Gracie Abrams, Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, Olivia Rodrigo. I'm only gonna name women. Tate McRae, Alanis Morissette. Green Day, Joni Mitchell, No Doubt, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and we even had Dave Grohl and the rest of the remaining members, like Pat Smear of Nirvana, come back together and do a couple of songs. I have to say, I know this was thrown together at the last minute. But I think it was Rod Stewart who basically helped her, and Billy Crystal and everything. And I also think John Mayer had a lot to do with it as well. But it was such a great show, and everybody looked like they were having fun. And I believe that when the show at the Kia Forum was going on, people in the Intuit Dome were able to watch it. And then vice versa for when the show ended at Kia Forum, and people at the Kia Forum were able to watch the Intuit Dome version. It was a great show. It put out a great message. Steve Ballmer and Connie Ballmer are going to match dollar for dollar the donations, which is amazing. U2 donated $1 million, and people teamed up. And Billie Eilish came out and sang with Green Day at one point, and people were like coming back and forth. And Lady Gaga debuted a new song from her fiance. Oh, that son of a bitch. How dare he take her from me? I think we would have been a cute couple. There's a recap of the concert via Nicole Fell in the Hollywood Reporter. It was, I mean, it was truly just a sight to behold. I'm so glad that everybody could come together. And oh yeah, Dr. Dre was a surprise. That was with Anderson .Paak. That was crazy. It was nice to see everybody come together from truly all walks of life, because you had people like Lil Baby perform. They could have gotten somebody else. Like we went from Dr. Dre at the first venue to Lil Baby at the other. Barely moving around, barely legible. There were a lot of celebratory cheers for the first responders. A lot of stories, a lot of like heartbreaking stories you saw about the animals and like people and losing their homes and communities coming together. I just enjoyed it. It was great, and I was thinking about this to think about this in a very silly way. $100 for 6 hours of show from some of the greatest acts in music now and in the past. You kidding me? I would have gone. Yeah, Stevie Nicks was there. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, and Saint Vincent was there. That's right. Yeah, because she sang with Dave Grohl and Pat Smear and Christ. Oh yeah, and Kim Gordon and Joan Jett. I forgot. You're. Oh my gosh. You should. I truly think if you have the time to sit down and watch the entire thing, it was very fun. It was very fun, and I hope that enough money was donated. Oh yeah, Kamala Harris was there. Forgot about that. I hope enough money was donated so that people could watch it. Oh wait, excuse me. I hope enough. I'm sorry. I clicked on something. I hope enough money was donated so that people could get their homes back and everything, and just get help that they need. It was at AMC's. That's what I clicked on. God, that'd have been so fun to be in an AMC theater for 6 hours straight. It's like Christmas Day again, or Christmas Eve, right? No, that's no. When did I see Wicked and Gladiator 2? Was that Thanksgiving? The day before Thanksgiving, that's right. I think that Tuesday. Although I did go home for a little bit and then come back. Check it out. It was a very fun show. It was a very fun show. And there's at least 4 hours of music, which means I skipped over 2 hours of talking. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Next up, Forza Horizon 5 is coming to PS5. This comes from Matt Kim at IGN. Microsoft has not been shy in recent months talking about how they're going to bring some of their biggest franchises over to. They want Xbox everywhere, more or less. They want you to, speaking of NVIDIA, they want you to be able to play Xbox games in the cloud. They want you to use Xbox xCloud, which is not the name, to play games on your TVs. They want you to use Game Pass on your phones. They want you to use, maybe at some point Xbox games on Nintendo consoles. We already had, I think, Sea of Thieves came to PlayStation. There are games from Xbox on your PC. You can play Halo, obviously, on your PC. But now Forza Horizon 5, which is probably, of the very slim number of Xbox exclusives, the Forza series is probably in the top 3. Halo, Gears, Forza, which is unfortunate. Forza Horizon 5 is the open world version of the Forza games. Phil Spencer has been, he's been championing play Xbox games everywhere. And as Matt Kim writes, the move comes amid growing interest from Xbox in releasing its games on non-Xbox platforms, including PlayStation and Nintendo Switch, with Xbox boss Phil Spencer confirming its intention to support the Nintendo Switch 2. In the most recent investor call, Microsoft revealed that while Indiana Jones and the Great Circle reached 4 million players, I was one of them, and I beat it. And Game Pass on PC grew 30% to increase services revenue by 2%. Overall gaming revenue fell with console sales dropping nearly 30%. This may incentivize Xbox to prioritize Game Pass and push for more games on other hardware. I think this is such a bad idea. It is, okay, I'll say ill-conceived idea, because now this essentially displays to prospective Xbox players and your current Xbox players that you have no confidence in your current console, in the console that is the Xbox Series X, that you are. I mean, in the short run, it's great for their sales, but in the long run, you're showing that, hey, we don't have confidence in this Xbox product as it is now. Now, Phil Spencer did come out, I believe, yesterday and say something along the lines of the next Xbox, in order to be competitive against the next PlayStation product, it has to be more innovative than PlayStation. And if anything, I do agree with him. If anything, it would take more of the exclusives and more reasons to stick with Xbox. There are people like me who have multiple ways to play games. There are people that choose two ways to play games. You can have, some people have a Nintendo product and either Xbox or PlayStation. Some people have Nintendo product and PC. Nintendo's probably going to be the one that people have most of the time, along with something else. And there are more people. Some people have PC, PlayStation, or PC, Xbox. And then there's a good contingent of people who have PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, or PlayStation, Xbox, PC, or PC, Xbox, Nintendo, PC, PlayStation, Nintendo. People who are dedicated gamers are going to be the ones that you should aim for first when it comes to keeping people around. And that's what I think Game Pass is really good for, because if I go on Game Pass right now, I choose to go on my phone instead of going on the computer. It was great being able to play Indiana Jones the day it comes out. And it's great being able to play Call of Duty. And now I can stream my own games. Like if I own Cyberpunk digitally, I don't. I own it physically, unfortunately. Or Hogwarts Legacy, or Baldur's Gate 3, then I can stream it to my phone for the only added cost of having Game Pass Ultimate. Or I can play games like Death's Door via touch on my phone. Where's the native Game Pass app? Or excuse me, they deleted that. Put Game Pass in the Xbox app. Xbox, Microsoft. I wish Microsoft would instead go the Sony route and make the exclusives. The only reason I have my PlayStation is because of the exclusives. That's the only reason I have my PlayStation 4. I bought PlayStation 4 was for Until Dawn. I could care less about Uncharted. I don't like the first Uncharted. Uncharted 2 was great. Uncharted 3 was really great. Uncharted 4 was really, really great. But I came for Until Dawn, and then Until Dawn is now on everything. And then The Quarry came out. I bought The Quarry on PlayStation, even though it's on Xbox. It's technically on Game Pass, I think. And I also have it on PC. But I chose to play it on PlayStation. If I was smart, I would have bought Yakuza on PlayStation, but it was on sale on Xbox. So there we go. Ratchet and Clank, it was on PlayStation, and then it's for like Xbox is great because it's a platform that is more akin to a personal computer, a PC, as they call it, than what PlayStation is. And yes, PlayStation has great games, but their interface is still stinky. Same thing for X. I'll say Xbox interface sucks too, and so does Nintendo Switches. It's tough. It's tough in this world, but I'm glad we can make folders. I want a reason to continue playing, or for people to continue playing the Xbox. I will play it until it stops becoming a console. The next Xbox needs to be, and the reason why I say Xbox is more akin to a PC is that here's one. There's two things that I like on the PlayStation way more, and it's not video game based. It is the controller. The controller is great. Not the feeling of it, but the haptics. I like that trigger thing, and I like the vibrations on the controller are fantastic. And the fact that I can put in a regular SSD as opposed to a proprietary memory card. But do I have a regular SSD for it? No, I do not. For the next Xbox, I would love to see it become more PC-like. I can already use Microsoft Edge on there. I don't. I used to. That's how I used to watch the Comedy Central screeners when they used to do screeners. I no longer get screeners from Comedy Central. This is before Chromecasting. I used to use my Xbox One Microsoft Edge browser. Right at that point, I think it was Internet Explorer. I would love to see it become more of a PC hybrid device. More so modular, more or less modular is what I meant to say. That would be very fun. Two animals. One animal's next to me, and there's another one waiting by her bowl. They're ready to eat. It ain't gonna happen. I gotta record this episode. Serious because I said it ain't. But I would love to see it become more of a PC hybrid. And I would love more exclusives. I think a lot of people love more exclusives. A timed exclusive like Indiana Jones is fine. But there's a reason why, Insomniac is only making Spider-Man games for PlayStation. So let's get a Superman game. Let's get I was going to say Ghostface. Let's get a Ghostface game. Let's get a Scream game up in this. But I wouldn't know the answers. I think you would see analysts, if you looked at a regular video game analyst, they would suggest Microsoft go the way of Sega and just make games and get out of the console business in its entirety. But competition drives innovation. And when you have just Apple versus Android in general, it doesn't work. iOS versus Android doesn't work. But when there's Apple iOS versus the Samsung Galaxy series, the Nothing phone, the Sony phones, all those other phones, then you're going to see some sort of innovation. And that's going to come mostly from the Android side, mostly from the companies where you can't really Huawei. Like you can't buy a phone here in America. Motorola sometimes. But there's how many versions of how many versions of OLED TVs are out there? And every single year you hear about the best ones. LG has the best ones one year. Samsung has the best ones one year. Sony has the best ones. Now Hisense and TCL are making really good, cheap, but high quality televisions. I want to continue seeing that. I want to see this innovation. And my concern is that Microsoft is going to drop out or kind of whittle away. And if you're going to drive innovation, then do it now. Innovation is Game Pass Ultimate. I think that's great. If I can play it on my phone and my iPad and on the computer via my web browser, that's innovation. Keep working on that. But also, don't just drive people to a subscription product. Have the games to support it. If the next Xbox comes out and it still has a disk drive, it doesn't make it optional, and it still has a disk drive, and it has a disk drive that not only plays Blu-rays and 4K discs, but also has HDR and 4K Dolby Vision, let it happen. Because that way, people aren't going to buy the Panasonic UB40 and have a second thing that takes them away off of Xbox. Make the disk drive the highest quality disk drive. Because if Xbox goes away and it's just Sony and Nintendo and PC gamers are going to be off in their own world. Nintendo's going to be doing its own thing. And that's going to make Sony go, hey, we have no one else to compete with, really. Let us charge $600, $700, $800 for this PlayStation that is in the same way an iPhone 16 or an iPhone 15 or an iPhone 14. No real innovation. It's just slightly better than the last one, if that. So Microsoft, step it up. This next one comes from Variety, written by Brian Steinberg. CBS unveils new format for venerable evening news. This week was the first week without Norah O'Donnell, who signed off last week. And if you want to read people who just, for some reason, are watching a CBS evening news clip on YouTube of a woman signing off from her job that she had for 5.5 years, and you want to feel good about who you are as a human being, no matter how bad you are, read those comments. My God. Like, she's just doing her job. Why are you watching the video? You know, and complain all you want. Complain all you want about how YouTube took away the ability for users to see how many people downvoted the video. You don't need to downvote a video. Once I watch a video for a minute and I see that it's useless to me, I get off of it. Not even a minute. I can do it in 10 seconds. I don't comment. I don't like. I don't dislike. All I do is if it's something that's useful to me, I'll save it. And if not, I just move on with my life. Now, CBS Evening News is different. And you know what? It's pretty good. On Monday, CBS News jettisoned many of its signature elements of the program. The ones similar to what NBC Nightly News and ABC World News Tonight do. Gone are the rat-a-tat story counts and the main focus on the anchor delivering the headlines. In their place, fewer stories told with more depth than Enterprise, a focus on reporters in the field, and elements that nod to the network's venerable magazine, 60 Minutes. And guess what? It works. It feels a lot more like PBS NewsHour. If that's a news show you like, it's very much that. It's vanilla. It's plain. I will say it's got more saturated colors than PBS NewsHour, and damn it, it works. It works well. This is what broadcast news was missing. If people were complaining, which I did not see for CBS, for NBC Nightly News, okay, buddy, and for ABC World News Tonight, I did not see this. I never saw. I always saw objectivity. I always saw people doing their jobs. And in the same way, even though Jim Acosta left CNN because the bosses there, including Mark Thompson and what's his name, David Zaslav, even though they're like, don't have opinions on Trump. They have opinions on Trump. Those two have opinions on Trump. They love him. I see objectivity on CNN, but this new CBS Evening News feels great. It's hosted by John Dickerson and Maurice Dubois. If you watch Desus and Mero, God, you know Maurice Dubois. They have this video floor. They have videos. They have big screens everywhere. It feels like let's take the analogy from the 60 Minutes. It feels exactly like a 60 Minutes ripoff. And it works. I just moved the story because I don't think I have time to cover it. And you always see the floor manager counting them down at the top of the episode, counting them down and then throwing them in, queuing them in. I enjoy it. This is something that that broadcast news has needed. Under Paramount Global management, CBS News has been pressed to share news gathering resources with the newsroom of the company's local stations, which is why Dubois, a veteran anchor from WCBS New York, and Dickerson, whose strong political analysis chops have brought him to Face the Nation and CBS This Morning, among other places, have been joined together in an unorthodox union. And, to add more to that, the 60 Minutes is probably the longest running news magazine show, right? The way that Chris Licht, when he was at CBS, brought CBS Mornings into CBS This Morning. Is it CBS Mornings now? Anyway, when he made that change and that switch to longer stories and more of a cohesive narrative, and bringing that down to CBS Evening News works so well, because I think that's what people would want. Local news kind of has a smattering of stories, and you have to write at a 4th grade or 5th grade level, something along those lines. I can't remember when I was at NBC. You have to write at a level that everybody can understand. And a lot of times with local news, it feels, explanatory and has the ability to talk down. And it just doesn't feel good. And you can't really get into things. It's just mostly surface level. But with this evening news development, you feel like you are a part of the story and you will understand more. And we don't really need names. People don't know who Maurice Dubois is. They've probably seen John Dickerson, but they probably couldn't put a name to the face. It's no secret that CBS Evening News has run third behind its direct broadcast competitors for years, and the constant switching of anchors hasn't really helped the network grow its perch with potential audiences. Now there are cost pressures in the brew. That's what I said both times, right? Paramount Global has in recent months worked to cut millions of dollars from its operations, and the company that is supposed to acquire the media conglomerate has proposed cutting millions more. With that in the background, it seems likely that Dubois and Dickerson, who have other duties, won't travel frequently to scenes of crisis and critical gatherings, but rather leave that to the people already scattered around the world. They say that, and CBS This Morning, they will constantly send people, the main anchors, somewhere. Tony DeCopel will pop, if there was the fires in LA, the hurricanes, I think, the last storms that were happening, they sent him out there. And then I believe he is now currently in DC at the airport because of the plane and helicopter crash. And then they also sent Gayle King to the LA to the the benefit concert in LA, which I think was a good idea, because you could dedicate all 2 or 3 hours of that show in the morning to that, because there's so many stories that could come from that. Anthony Mason was out there. He had so many stories. This has to perform well, and if anything, it's not expensive. You have those people out there scattered out in the world doing their stories. I think it's fine. I like it a lot. Am I going to turn from, because I watch PBS NewsHour, am I going to turn from that hour-long show to now at 6:30 to CBS Evening News? Maybe. But they will be recapping stories I've already heard all day long, plus 30 minutes prior on PBS NewsHour. But we'll see where this takes them, and we'll see what Skydance does to them after the fact. Okay, listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website cpluscomedy.com. I can hear my neighbor's dog. It's just yapping. cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to famous people sometimes. Speaking of that, you can see those videos on youtube.com/cpluscomedy. We've got an interview coming out next week, my very first one in 2025. Hopefully there's many, many more, but this person I knew, and I don't want to say remembered me, but they definitely remembered the circumstances surrounding me meeting them, which is great. I can't wait for it to come out, and we had a nice long chat. YouTube.com/CPlusComedy to watch a video version of this show, as well as LinkedIn Logs and Late Night Lately. Subscribe to those wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at CPlusComedy. Me on those platforms at Chad Black White. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you later. Bye.